Welcome to the Season of Self-Love podcast. I am your host, Nyomi Banks, and I am thrilled to have you join me on this transformative journey. You see, every day we dive into a powerful conversation about self-discovery, healing, and empowerment. This podcast is brought to you by Ask Nyomi and Elevate Me Self-Discovery, where we believe that loving yourself is the first step to living a fulfilling life. You can expect insightful discussions, practical tips, and inspiring stories. Plus, we'll occasionally welcome special guests who will share their unique perspectives on self-love and personal growth. So get comfy, grab your favorite beverage, and let's embark on this journey together. Because it's time to embrace the beautiful person that you are. So let's elevate our lives one episode at a time. Now let's get started. All right, my beautiful people, well, welcome back to the Season of Self-Love podcast. I am your host, Nyomi Banks, and today we are continuing our journey in this series. This month is called Living Life Abundantly. This month we are focusing on how to cultivate abundance in all areas of our lives. And today's topic is about emotional abundance and how to navigate our feelings with grace and intentions. And I am thrilled to welcome back our resident therapist today, Dr. Will Washington. He brings wealth to our knowledge of emotional intelligence and his role in personal growth. But today we are exploring how understanding our emotions can lead to more abundant life and stronger connections with ourselves and with others. But before we bring Dr. Will to the stage, we're going to take a quick break. And then when we come back, we're going to get deeper into this topic. All right. It's your girl, Goddess Nyomi Banks here on the Season of Self-Love podcast. And we'll be right back.
Washington Wellness Institute focuses on healing always. For me, if I look good, then I feel good. If I feel good, then I share the good. If I share the good, then I celebrate the good. If I celebrate the good, then I live the good. So I can be paid to be my greatest. But I have to learn the good to be the good.
So, what does it take to be the greatest? It's as simple as a free 15-minute consultation. Be kind to yourself and heal always.
Hey, it's your girl, Goddess Nyomi Banks, and make sure you tune in every Thursday night to Ask Nyomi Bridging the Gap podcast, where we talk about everything from love, sex, relationship, cultural differences, and so much more. We're bridging the gap between them all, and we even talk about spiritual uplifting. You need to stop by. Me and Dr. Mike, as well as the BTG crew. We have some amazing guests that come through. You never know. Just make sure you tune in Thursday night, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Go to asknyomi.com and tell them Nyomi sent you. All right, well, welcome back to the Season of Self-Love podcast. I am your host, Nyomi Banks, and I am here with Dr. Will. Welcome back, Dr. Will.
It feels so good to be on this side. It feels so good. I'm happy to be present with you today.
Why, thank you. Thank you so much. Today we are talking about emotional abundance, navigating grace. Yes. Yes.
Oof. Navigating feelings is a lifestyle.
Yes.
That is a lifestyle.
It is. It is. You know, it is so fitting for this month. You know, this month we had the election this month, and just navigating through those feelings of, with the results and all of those things, and truly even understanding how do we navigate those feelings, of us becoming neighbors again. You understand? Because everybody had different views of that, from that. And so I know that this episode will be a great addition to helping others to kind of get through navigating through their feelings forward. Yeah.
Definitely is. And I think that my clients so far, I've had back-to-back clients for the past, couple of weeks, and this post-election emotional distress has been really opening towards mental health, identity, and really having that, the intention, the impact, and the grounding have all been on so many different levels.
Yeah.
And so I'm really glad we're here today.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, my beautiful people. So you know how we do it. Before we get into the topic at hand, we're going to take a quick, nice little still moment. And we're going to do a nice little guided meditation. All right. So if you guys could just close your eyes and take a moment. All right. While we just take this moment. Take a deep breath in through your nose and hold it for a moment. Now slowly exhale out your mouth. Now as you breathe, I want you to visualize yourself surrounded by a warm and calming light. And then with each breath in, I want you to imagine drawing in positivity and openness in your emotions. And with each breath out, I want you to release any tension or stress. Now let's take a few more deep breaths in together. I want you to inhale deeply in. I want you to breathe in positivity and openness. Hold. Now I want you to breathe out and release any tension or stress. Letting go. Now I want you to breathe in again. Deep breaths in together, inhaling deeply. Hold. Now exhale, letting go again. Now when you are ready, I want you to gently open your eyes and bring your awareness back to the present moment, all right? All right. All right, my beautiful people. Well, thank you for sharing that moment with me. And if you are new here to the Season of Self-Love podcast, it's something we do every day, Monday through Friday, just to help center ourselves and ground us before we get into the topic here. So I did those real deep, long holes for a moment. I just felt like we needed to go deeper.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah. To sit in it for a minute.
To sit in it, right? We know what sit means, right? SIT, slow down, interview, then we talk it out.
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, beautiful people. So let's do this. Let's set the stage for our discussion on emotional abundance, all right? I believe we talked about this before, Dr. Will, on a previous episode. I believe you kind of broke it down with emotional intelligence, or EI, as you would say, And it's the ability of understanding and managing our emotions while, we kind of recognize our influences on our emotions of others. So encompassing, what do you call it? You said the 5 keys, right? The components of self-awareness, self-regulation, motivation. See, I was doing my homework, empathy,
Wow.
skills.
You really, hey, yeah. Look, I should have got you a little gold sticker. Like, this is, you want something? I was like, okay. I thought you were gonna ask me. I was like, oh. I was like, wait a second.
Yes, because I remember this, and I remember actually that was kind of like one of the first time you was like, get your purpose paper and your purpose pencil out. Yes, I have mine out.
I love this. This is why these podcasts keep growing. This is exactly why, because we learned from the last one.
Yes, most definitely. Self-regulation, motivation, and empathy in social skills. And, I remember you saying about developing them emotionally. Intelligence is crucial for our personal growth and significantly impacts our relationship and decision-making process. With this foundation, I'm going to let Mr. Dr. Washington share his insights on it more.
There's so many angles I can go at this. And before I get started, though, I want to ask you, what do you hope your listeners experience with me explaining it? Because I want to make sure that, because there's so many different ways we can go, because this is such a big topic.
Yeah. So let me say this, because when I originally had this idea, it was more of just a sense of understanding what abundance is, in the feeling of what you have around you in that instance, and feeling of those, because sometimes we can have a feeling of being guilty of what we have or what we don't have, and your emotions in that, and understanding of the relationship of others of that. But now that we have this significant thing that just happened the past few weeks ago. Now we have to understand, what does that mean in navigating those feelings and understanding, even though certain things have not happened what we thought that would happen,
Yeah.
how can we move on and navigate those feelings and embrace those abundance of our emotions? Does that make sense? Am I explaining that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you are, and I think it's important for me to first acknowledge that hope was on a thin line
Yeah.
on both sides.
Yeah.
Hope was the thing that both parties were having. It was a battle of hope,
Yeah.
right? Who has hope? And there are a bunch of people that feel hopeless, and that hopelessness also creates and instills a sense of fear.
Yeah.
And creates a lack of security, and even promotes a level of disappointment that makes it hard to really hold on to what we can actually believe in. What
Yeah.
do we believe in? What do we want to believe in? And what do we have left? And that is not in the space of abundance.
Yeah.
Thinking about what we have left is a moment of scarcity, as we talked about.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that in this moment, the psyche of what's currently happening is us understanding, how do we restore our faith into a system that acknowledges that my life for the next 30 years is in control of is by something else. Who do I become in this? How do I become? Who do I share this with? Who do I talk to? Who do I trust? Who do I become? What is needed of me? What do I have to pour back in? What do I have to protect myself from? All this uncertainty is causing a level of chaos, and it removes us from being still and present with ourselves. And so we do have to navigate these feelings.
Mm-hmm.
That is uplifting and brings back and normalizes that fear is only awareness, not
Mm-hmm.
an absence.
Mm-hmm.
Fear is awareness, not an absence. And we have
Mm-hmm.
to reframe the way we're thinking about what we just experienced.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, on one of my shows with Ask Naomi, at the end of the show, we were talking about, we did like what we call an aftermath, the aftermath of the election. And I remember having a panel of guests, and as well as some of the BTG crew, the listeners that were on there. And it was like, everybody was having about why they felt that Kamala didn't win, or and all of these things. And it's like, okay, let's talk about healing. Let's talk about bringing this nation together. Let's talk about us becoming neighbors with one another. How can we get there? That is what we're talking about, because the thing is that we have to start focusing on the now, because we really don't know. And this is my thing. We really don't know what's going to happen in January. We don't know.
We don't know.
And we can't, and that's the thing is that we have to live in, as you say, live in the moment right now. What is it that we control? I remember this morning, so funny, this morning, I was listening to my Audible. I was listening to my Audible, Change Your Paradigm, Change Your Life. And I am back on session 1, chapter 1, and understanding what that is. And in one of the Bob Proctor, he says about understanding the control that you have, and that's control of you. You don't have control outside of the world, or outside of that. And he was talking in the presence of when it was going on with COVID. He said, I don't worry about that because I have no control over that. I only have control over me and what I allow to come into my mind. That's it.
Wow.
Nothing else. He said, so I cannot allow fear or any of those things to come into what I know that I am capable to do within my environment. So it's like you have to be able to know and understand what is in your immediate environment. And I think what we tend to do is we tend to lose or not understand what we truly are in control of. Because to be very honest, President didn't make us rich or poor anyway. It's really about us. It's really about us individually. It's really about self.
Yeah. I'm so glad you said that. And I think when we talk about, we have to focus on now, like, which is great. That's great. But also, is that coming from a survival mindset, or is that coming from a living mindset? in the power of now, a survival mindset is knowing, well, what's left, what's leaving, what's left, what do I have to make sure I keep before it's gone? And in living, it's understanding that what I have right now is all that I need. And a lot of us don't have the security, especially as Americans, we do not have the security we wish or think we should have, which is why we act so disproportionate at times, because we don't have the security of knowing what we have within ourselves. And we're taught that we have to rely on the system to be sufficient, rather than we should be relying on our people. We should be relying on our communities. We should be learning how to reach out and know what we have available for us. And that type of lack of communication and bridging is something that divides us more than the actual political system,
Yeah.
And so it's sad to know that we've lost hope in our own communities.
Yeah.
But whose job is that to bring that back? And that's us.
That's ours.
It's us.
That's ours.
Yeah.
That's ours.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to go back. I want to go take a few steps back, because I want to make sure that our listeners understood and heard what you said. You had made a statement, and I want to make sure that you made it that is clear, that they understand.
Mm-hmm.
You said about when we talk about focusing on right now, and that it's not, I want to make sure that it's not a survival, you said, versus survival or living.
Living. Yes.
Yeah. So if you can make that clear on what you mean by that when you say that.
Yes. So I'll keep it very straightforward.
Okay. Thank you.
In a survival mindset, you're living paycheck to paycheck. Mm-hmm. You don't feel like you have control. You feel like your vote doesn't even matter. You feel like you have to, you feel like you have to vote for something that feels powerful, just so you feel like you can align with something that makes you feel like you're the difference, right? People that feel like I'm voting on the winning side. Just because you win doesn't mean you really got everything you needed, And so my thing is people in the survival mindset have that eagerness or the instant gratification of feeling complete, rather than actually living your truth, and which is I'm not worried about what goes. And I'm not worried about what stays. I'm worried about, am I enough in my moment? And a lot of us don't have the time or the chance to sit for a moment and say, I am enough, before you look outside of yourself. Did you look within yourself before you looked without yourself? And I think a lot of times we miss out on that so many times.
Yeah. You know why? Because that is another thing that I was hearing this morning about looking at things inside out instead of outside in, or upside down.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. I love that.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I actually had an interview with a young lady, and I gotta share this. I'm so sorry.
I love story time. Let's do this.
I have to share. Go. I mean, this story. When I say I don't believe that she truly understand how truly gifted and blessed that she was. But she kept saying, I know that I'm blessed by God, but her energy in the words that she was saying were not aligned with what she was speaking.
What does it mean to be blessed nowadays? When people say that, we say that as a way of like, I don't know, it feels like an empty gesture at times.
Yeah.
What does it mean to be blessed?
Yeah, and it felt that way. And it felt that way. As she was speaking, I saw the connection in her journey. I saw the connection in her journey. And within this, and I remember being I wasn't feeling too well before the interview and in the beginning of the interview. And that's because I was feeling her. I was feeling her angst and what she was going through. And I remember as she was speaking, and before I knew it, after she finished saying her spiel, and I said, right now you're supposed to be sitting in gratitude. Gratitude. I said, because I think you just missed your whole connection to this. You missed your whole connection, that whole journey.
Right.
I'm smiling because I see the journey. Like I was sitting there right with her while she was doing it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, hey, I can appreciate
it. Just proud of them. Yeah, just proud of them. Yeah.
Like you don't understand what just went through. You don't understand. Me as a Black woman, as a woman of color, that don't know truly where their ancestrals come from, but you was
Right.
given to it as a gift.
Whoa. I wish I had just a broom by well, just a tool to just say that, oh, they were farmers. I would just know that they were farmers. Were they musicians? Were they owners? Were
Yeah,
they I would just love to know what
yeah,
state what state did they come from?
yeah. But just in that moment,
Mm,
but this is what I'm about to
wow.
tell you, but just in that moment, that is what I'm talking about, not understanding even the emotional abundance that she didn't even know that she had. Does that make sense?
Right. Right. Wow. Yeah.
And I
That's
was
so
explaining
sad.
to her the inside out of it. I said, your grandfather was trying to connect to you on a spiritual level first before the outside. He was trying to connect
Yeah.
with you on the inside. Because the thing is, if you would connected with him on the inside, it wouldn't have took you that long. It wouldn't have took you
Exactly.
that long, baby girl.
And my thing is, what is stopping you from sitting with yourself and sitting with them? Why are you externalizing your process?
Yeah. Yeah.
You're really
Yeah.
speaking words into you.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That really, this is going to sound a little, I
Go
always
ahead,
wonder,
go.
I'm trying, I was trying to figure out the words. I was like, ooh, ooh. I, I think about how many Black people of all beliefs, socioeconomic statuses, doesn't matter what they are, how many of us Black Americans dilute or deny or callous our own history to be present, having to think about how much we deny our entire existence and lineage just so that we can make it from 9 to 5. And then it doesn't take till a tragedy or a big event to make us feel somewhat enraged. But the enrage is not even, it's the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah.
It's not even about the rage, right? It's about the denial every day of everything that's happened to us up to this point. And the 390 something years of being denied an identity. And then we get freedom, but we're 3/5 of a human. Then
Yeah.
we have to pay for voting. And then we
Yeah.
have to not even be able to use the same spaces. And I'm not trying to do a whole history lesson, but
No.
the type of the lack of sensitivity we have in our own awareness, how our own sensitivity could mean life or death.
Yeah.
It hurts my soul on such a deep level. And the only way that I can understand it right now is through music and psychology.
Yeah.
I have to understand my why, and I have to feel a frequency that's not word anymore.
Yeah.
I need the frequency of my ancestors. I can't listen to another word because I don't even know where that word comes from anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And so to hear that story, it makes me sad because there's so much abundance and gift, and it's not even abundance, it's a gift. You're given
Yes.
a gift.
Yes.
A gift. And
Yeah.
and what is the goal? A gift is only as powerful as you give it.
Yeah.
So just not being so being called and not willing to actually answer it in a way that that hurts my heart in so many ways. And that just baffles me. And it makes me want to give them a hug, to be honest. And
Yeah.
just be like,
And oh my God,
that's it.
when I tell you, I just fell back. When I tell you, that's all I want. I just want to like come to
Yeah. just get this hug. Come get
yeah,
this hug.
really just,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, I did. I wanted to, and I
I'm
just
not
kept
even
saying,
mad. I just let me
just
just give you some love.
yeah,
Cause you just yeah.
because I don't even think you truly understand what has taken place, and not only for you, but just for just everybody that has went through that. Do you understand that
Right.
you are the voice that they need?
Yes. The fact that what they were
You were
going through at that
chosen.
time, what they were going through at that time, and then saying, I'm going to record these messages because one day I hope that the amount of sacrifice, right? Instead of trying to just like survive, instead of trying to survive through this, they decided to live through this. They decided to live through that.
And then go back and live through it again. Mental.
Come on. Yes, that's why they need a hug.
So if that's not navigating feeling with grace as well, this is so
right.
many
Look, that's it. That's it right there. Like that's the lesson right there.
Yeah.
Ugh, that made my stomach just flatline.
Yeah. I'm sorry, y'all. We didn't even give y'all no kind of notes, and we just talking.
Right. Back to these messages. Right. Oh, goodness.
But yeah, that just made me, like just really think. It just feels it's so raw. It just feels so raw. Like honestly, this month has been a truly raw month. But it's been and when I say it's been an amazing raw month, is because it's been so self-aware. It's been so like, yes, that's needed. Yes, that's needed. Because in the beginning of this month, I was like, should I do this topic? Should I talk about living abundance? Because am I truly living the way that I say that I'm going to live? I can't sit on this platform and speak about any of this unless I am truly living. You know what I'm saying? Am I just talking just to be talking, or am I truly living? And it's like, yeah. So even while we're talking right here and we're talking about what happened, we're talking about a instant just happened in real time that we just witnessed someone just going through, and that was not about navigating through. They missed it totally. So it's like now,
Go ahead,
now
please.
in that instance, Dr. Will, how can we tell our listeners how to recognize those emotions, or how can they navigate through those?
They have to navigate those by understanding that feelings are meant to exist through you, not with you. You can't hold on to feelings. You can't. The more you hold on to feelings, it causes emotional malignancies. Emotional malignancies are feelings that you don't let go and you don't resolve, and they live inside you and they swirl through your body. And it can come out physically. It can come out with different types of other emotional triggers. You can have sleep deprivation. You might gain weight by not letting go of emotions. It's amazing how emotions can show up in your body. And when you do not allow those feelings to go to your mind, your heart, and throughout your body, what happens is you forget what the ideology of grace is, and you become guilt. You become it's resentment. You create resentment, right? You would create remorse. You would create regret. You create rationalization of your own entire existence. And so even my research discussed this exact process. You usually end up reacting to situations. You rationalize your importance. You create remorse, shame, or guilt. Then you create resentment. And then you end up having regret. And you never seem to get out of that cycle. And you just keep repeating that cycle. And grace is not even a term that you can create. And to even get to that, you have to understand humility.
Yeah.
So you can't allow these emotions to live within you. They have to go through you.
Yeah. You had said something about guilt. I remember before I got off the call with this young lady, I remember told her, let go of the guilt. And she looked at me. I said, let go of the guilt. She said, oh, okay, I hear you. Let go of the guilt.
Oh, wow. Wow. I think a lot of us, if you're human, I think a lot of us have held on to guilt, shame, and judgment. And those three things alone have controlled the narrative of our fear.
Yeah.
Which would never allow us to experience our feelings with grace.
Yeah. Yeah. I have been guilty of that. Yes. I have been very guilty of that. Yeah. I've moved around it, but yeah, I've had to check myself quite a few times on that one. Yeah.
Yeah. I actually might be so open. I recently got some really big news, and it was like news I've been dreaming of having, and it's going to happen next year now. And I was so excited. I was like, this is amazing. I'm pumped. I was like, let me call people that I know that would be so excited to hear this. And I called the first person, and they're like, oh, that's great. Well, let me know when it is. I was like, man, they're not really happy for me. Like they weren't as excited as I was. Like I'm on this phone, so like a Boy Scout, like just like
Right.
jumping
Yeah.
up and down. Like I was crying, praying, and just like thankful and just praising. And they were just not as excited for me. And then I called my other friends, and they were like really pumped and excited for me. And I was like, this is so great. They're excited. We're both jumping up and down. And then I thought to myself, why am I still stuck on the person that wasn't as excited?
Mm.
My happiness was focused on their validation and not my own happiness.
Yeah.
I made my happiness about their response, not my own. And it's amazing how often we give our feelings away to other people and not actually own ours and choose our own happiness through the navigation.
Yeah.
And it's so quick, right? We're so quick to just throw our feelings away to other people and things and not actually just hold on to what we want to feel. And it's so sad when we have a plethora of emotions and we just give them away to other people rather than actually holding on to them ourselves. It's such a waste of emotional currency.
Yeah. Yeah. That's something that I find myself doing that at times with my mother. Yeah. Yeah. I find myself doing that. I don't do it as often as I used to anymore, but that was a thing with me and her, always seeking her validation. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And a lot of our feelings, if we don't learn how to navigate ourselves and master ourselves,
Yeah.
validation becomes our master.
Yeah.
And only other people can can manipulate your entire world
Mm-hmm.
with validation. Because the truth is that human beings, we want to belong. We want to belong. We want to be a part of things. We want to feel like we have a place in this village.
Yeah.
And if we don't feel that way, we might burn our own village just to feel warm for once.
Yeah.
That's a proverb. That's an African proverb. And so it's so important that we understand what our feelings really do in our world. Like no one ever asked that. What do your feelings really do for your world? No one is thinking about that.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We don't think about what our feelings do in our world. We don't know we actually do it to other people because of our own feelings. That's a level of emotional responsibility that has literally corrupted our ability to be compassionate and vulnerable with each other. And I think that this is kind of the beginning of this. Like what we're talking about today is the beginning of what it means to offer your best self. And we hope it's the starting of self-love.
Yeah.
That's a good start because that becomes the foundation of your entire emotional lifestyle.
Right. Right. Yeah. It's like I just keep going back to her face. I just keep going back to the lady face. I really do. And why I say that is because I believe she was just so shocked by my words that I gave her. And there wasn't mean words. They were just a shock that you would give me that perspective. You would tell me this to me. And it's like, yeah, this is the moment that you should be sitting in gratitude. This is the time that you should be celebrating, and I'm going to be honest. I felt not only obligated to the listeners because you're telling your story of resilience. And so you have to find that we've heard that story. So how did you get through it? And then to come up on the end, I wish it would have happened earlier. This is like
beginning, middle, and end, right? Resilience. We talked about this. Resilience has a beginning, middle, and end.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So where is that at? And then what it did, and I had to thank her, but it also did, it had it made me come to the awareness of who I am.
Ah,
You
yeah,
understand?
yeah.
And I told her, thank you for that. Because now I know who I am. That's just confirming me even more on who I am, that I am definitely that dot
Who you will choose and who you
outside of
will
that
choose to be.
circle. Huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Wow.
thank you for that. I mean, and
Mhm.
it was a great overall, the show was great, but it was just so many eye-opening moments in that show, and I just couldn't understand. It was just like, are you kidding me?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Can I ask you a very unique question?
You sure can.
What do you think was the bridge that was missing in that story for them?
It, it was a combination of things on that bridge for her that I felt.
Mm-hmm.
There was guilt,
Mm-hmm.
not feeling worthy of
Mm-hmm.
having the gift to be able to do that. Um, Not knowing her connection.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah.
She disconnected with that story, even though that story was her story,
Mm-hmm.
but she disconnected with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And that's why at the end I told you, when you get off of here and after we talk, I want you to sit in it.
Yeah.
So then the next time when you get on somebody else's platform, you'll really be able to,
Bring it home.
yeah,
Genuine, truly bring it home.
yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for saying that, because I really needed some grounding with that. And I I saw it from a therapist point of view about how
Mhm.
I would look at it. But I think navigating it in that way is really how you seek abundance in that story.
Yeah,
That's really how that would have. Yeah, I see the way that you see that. I do. That makes sense.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. She's a beautiful woman, like but you just see, you know, um, so many things. And I guess for me, I guess I'm in a place, I'm just so wide open right now. My frequency is so high, I'm so sensitive, so I just feel and see so many things.
Mm-hmm.
And
So many walks of life too.
yeah,
So many walks of life you see. Yeah, you see it
know,
all.
and so I don't know. I just like, damn it, come on, shit.
You're like, get to it. You're like, oh God. I think they're gonna be back.
Yeah, the thing is, I love every single guest that come on. I do, and they
Yeah.
do because they say, "Girl," at the end of the show, people like Kikin, or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, they gotta be back. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not worried about it. Like I said, I will go purchase her book, because it will be a part of my book club. I definitely would
Mm-hmm.
want to, read it and see what it's all about with that. But definitely, even for my listeners here, what I wanted them to get out of that, and that's the thing, is I always want somebody to get something out of it.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted her language to be heard. But if she don't know what her language is,
That's And what is the highest form of intelligence? Is being translatable. I don't care how smart you are, what your IQ is, what university, what college degree, what pedigree, whatever. If you are not translatable, it doesn't matter what you think.
Yeah. Yeah. And that was all. That was all. I know who my listener is. And I can say listeners, but I'm gonna say listener because I'm talking to you, whoever that you is, that you know. And so when people come on here, when you come in here, you talking to that person. So she is talking to that person, you know, and they have to be, you know, with it, you know. You have to give them, you have to motivate them, give them hope to where they like, okay, because you don't know where a person is at the moment when this, you know, scrolls through or come up on their feed. You understand what I'm saying? That they have to, and it's being real. You know, we tugging on people's hearts. This is when I say this is the most fulfilling, and it's not a job for me. This is not a job for me. This is the most fulfilling thing that I've ever done in my life besides having my children. This is the most fulfilling thing that I've ever had to do in my life because I am in relations with others to help build one another. We're trying to build a community of love. That is what we're doing. That is what we're doing to where we're helping others and we're serving one another. We're trying to bring it to somewhere that has never been before. That's something.
Yeah, and that lasts a lifetime, right? And I think even just with your family and moving forward, they're gonna have all this memory of everything, these lessons, the amount of wisdom that you're passing down to future generations. You're already you're living the gift, right? You're living the gift that's going to be passed down. And so it's amazing to see the same thing on two sides of the coin. Someone that got the gift and then someone that's creating the gift right now. I love the parallel of this story with you.
Man, that's what I said. That's what I told her.
That's why you got mad.
Yes, that's what I said. Like, you don't like, baby girl, you do not understand. And I'm telling you, saying baby girl to you, but baby, you do not understand. I know, like my mom, before my mom was deep down trying to find everything, the history. Like she got books like this much doing research to try to find who the hell we are.
Yes.
I tell the story all the time. I was in Italy. I was so pissed off. This was me being pissed off, looking at the cobblestone, and you know, it was so beautiful and pissed off, man, that I don't know who the hell I am.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
You might even be from there. You don't even know. And you mad on the land that you actually were supposed to be on. Not even knowing.
I'm just over there just pissed. All in my feelings. All in my feelings, just having a moment. It just lasted for a moment, but I had just got deep for a moment, and I was like, you know what? I need to just truly, you know, really need to truly go figure this out. And then when I got home, and I called my mom, and she asked me how everything went, and that's when she told me, you know, I'm doing our, you know, find out where we at our literature, you know, because my mama don't know nothing. my mama is telling nothing.
That's great.
You know, so my mother was just trying before, you know, her memories, you know, kind of started going away. Yeah, she was on it. She was on it. She got the DNA thing, all that done. She got everything. Yeah. All of that done. Yeah. So now I just gotta find it.
Okay.
Yeah. So I know we've Conga and what was the other one? Because I did it for baby girls thing, but yeah, I just gotta find it out. And I said that was my before the year's out. That is what I'm going to do, is do that.
Mm-hmm.
And we're gonna go from there, to kind of everything out. But yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
I,
Because at one moment I thought I was from Belize.
oh, really?
Yeah, because I don't
Oh,
care where I was at, everybody kept coming up to me and asking me. And I'm like, no, I keep getting that. I was even in a Belize beauty contest at one time. Like on
oh,
that
wow.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah, yeah.
Huh.
When you
I,
don't know your heritage is the Indian, like they're just so wrong. Just so wrong. But then I'm really thinking about doing I think they have one for Africans, just the African one, not the
mm-hmm.
one, that one. So I think I really want to
Yeah.
do that one. I think
Yeah.
that, yeah, I think I want to do that one versus the one that my mom did, because I think that one kind of pinpoints it more
Mm-hmm.
than
More
the
was
other.
concentrated.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
That makes sense.
yeah.
Yeah. I wanted to start doing that too, because I have a lot of indigenous tribes in my family.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually know some generals in the Civil War that were actually relatives, and they were also partnered and with other tribes during the Civil War as before and all that. So I just really want to learn more about that, because you think about how connected we are, and I think that we don't really get a chance to understand that the feelings I have are not just from today; they're from past generations. They're from past lives. They're unresolved feelings from people. They're unresolved feelings from our parents.
Yeah,
And so when we're navigating our feelings, it's kind of like, how much of this is me, how much of this is them, and how much of this is who I used to be.
you're right. Yeah,
We don't take time to really think about that. We never get time to even think about that, to be honest.
yeah.
So it's
Mm,
really sad that we don't get to really cipher through what these actually mean. What do feelings actually mean to me?
yeah.
And why do they mean this much to me?
Right,
If
right.
you can understand that before you actually interact with anybody else, your entire life would change.
It's a change.
Your entire life would change.
You would think like, why is none of this in teachings, school? There is nothing. This not even in church. You
No.
understand what I'm saying? Like,
Turn the other cheek. But what do you do? So what happens when you turn the other cheek? How do you feel?
yeah,
Your body keeps the score. We talk about that, right? The whole book, the body keeps the score. So I turn the other cheek. My body remembers that feeling. My body remembers that. That stores in my body, and that's now in my DNA. So when my next child comes, they're gonna remember the feeling
yeah,
of being abused in this way.
yeah.
That was survival. What my body
Mm-hmm.
just learned. My body just learned survival.
Mm,
We don't talk about
mm,
that part.
mm-mm. Now you got my mind going somewhere. That's deep. That's a whole nother topic. Mm, mm.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I think you choosing the word grace, that's a very difficult word.
Yeah.
That's I can see navigating feelings with care, with self-care, but when you choose
Say
grace,
grace. Yeah.
you're actively calling us out to be the thing that we were usually taught not to actually be.
Mhm. But would you have to though?
Ugh, yeah.
You know
Or
when what we
mhm.
say last, was it last about we this time to take the mask off?
Oh yeah, we did talk about that. Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and
Mm.
it keep taking me right back to this book that I'm reading right now. I'm back at chapter 1. Started back at chapter 1 today. I think this is probably my 15th time reading it now.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm at this constant repetitive keep, you know, in my head over and over again, and it keep bringing me back to here.
Mm.
And it's to remind me that I am changing these bad habits that I've learned. You
Yeah.
understand? And so
Yeah.
even we talked about several different things that just in that first chapter that I listened to today about the talking about the inside out, the upside down, talk about we speaking about learning things from the spiritual first before we speaking about the outside, the physical. Physical is outside, spiritual is in.
Mm,
And you talked about reacting and responding, about the way that we think, the emotional intelligence, different things of that sort. So when in that book, it breaks it down like that, where we're not taught
wow.
that in school. We're not taught that at home. We're not taught that anywhere.
Right.
Anywhere. Now, if we was to learn any of that was taught, the world would be so much different. And so we have to put it out there like that.
Hmm.
So now we got to go backtrack. Now we got
Right.
to go upside down with it. You understand? So now we got to
Yeah.
make it like,
See, that reminds me of just think about like in school, like in math, right? We go 1 + 1 is 2, 2 + 2 is 4, right? And then you start learning multiplication. Then you start looking about division, and then you get to one point where you're like, well, we could put letters in this, and I'll solve for X. We're like, oh, we gotta learn about letters, and then you start getting into physics about how now numbers have the product of changing the way that we actually live our lives. We can actually calculate what life is actually doing, and it's amazing how you have to build up and then you have to unlearn what the numbers used to mean. Like, why didn't you just tell me it from the beginning? Like, well, we need to make sure that you understood what the numbers were so that when we take them away, you know how special they were when they're not there now. I want to teach you how special these numbers are when they're not there. So you took things away to help me understand the possibility of when things aren't there. Why not just show me that they were there in the beginning or they weren't there
confusion
in
and
the beginning?
control.
Mm-hmm.
Confusion and control.
And that's what it is. It's conditioning, right? It's conditioning on how to accept learning, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're not learning. I'm conditioning you. There's a difference between being well learned and being conditioned.
Yeah.
Very big difference. And I think that we do not, when it comes to emotions, I have to teach people emotions so that we can even have the same conversation.
Yeah.
You can't just come into my office and be like, let's talk about trauma. That's not the first conversation. I ask, who are you? Or who do you think you are?
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of times you've become an identity because of trauma. You never
Yeah.
actually were yourself. And so to get to grace, we can't even understand what grace means because you're not even who you're supposed to be right now. So they get mad at me when I go, well, how old are you? They're like 35. And I go, well, how old are you emotionally? They're like, what? Like maybe 8. I'm like, well, how old are you spiritually? They're like, oh, like 400. So you got a 400-year-old, a 35-year-old, and a 90, all in one. That's a lot. That's a lot. How do you make it through the day? They're like, I don't know.
I
So
can't stand
understand
you.
that it's a lot. It's like figure it out. Figure it out. I don't. That's a lot. That's a lot.
Oh my
It's a lot.
goodness.
So I just think that we navigate feelings in so many ways, and I think that
Yeah.
you don't just have to feel feelings, but you also have to be the feeling.
Yeah.
And I think, like you said, from the inside out, right? You have to be with that feeling so that it learns how to be without you. And that's a part of IFS therapy. So I'm an IFS therapist as well. But, we talk about how sometimes you have to blend with a part to unblend with the part, right? And it's important to understand that process because all parts are welcome. That's like the golden rule there.
Well, we're going to end on that note. That was beautiful, Dr. Will.
Yeah, it was fun.
That was beautiful. That was so beautiful. All right, Molly. Is there any last words that you have beside that? I know I said we're going to end on that, but we got to have your infamous last words. You have any last words for our audience today?
Yeah, I got a whole bunch to say. I want to say, be kind to yourself and heal always.
I know that's right, Dr. Will. Mr. Washington, thank you. Thank you again for just joining us today and just sharing your expertise as always. It's always a pleasure to learn from you, as well as our listeners. Thank you for tuning in. And if you enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe, rate, and leave a review. And remember that abundance is within your reach, and practicing self-love is the key. So until next time, stay connected to your feelings and embrace the beauty of living abundantly. Have an amazing day. Thank you for joining us on this journey of discovering and empowerment here at the Season of Self-Love podcast. Remember, embracing self-love is a continuous journey, and we're so glad to have you with us. So if you enjoyed today's episode, please leave us a review. And don't forget to join our community on Facebook at Season of Self-Love. Connect with like-minded individuals who are also on their self-love journey. Now, if you have any questions or topics that you'd like for us to explore, we love to hear from you. Email us at seasonofselflove@gmail.com and let your voice be heard. So until next time, take a moment for yourself today and remember, you are worthy of love, joy, and all the beautiful things that life has to offer.